Hi folks, welcome back to the channel. It's been a minute or two, but let's get stuck right into it. I was asked to tie something for very early in the season for deeper, faster moving water, and this is what I came up with. So willy gun shrimp style, lots of material, lots of movement, great fun to tie. Let's get stuck right into it. Okay folks, kicking off with a Partridge Patriot size 8 double and some Fire Orange Uni 8O. A couple of wraps down, take away the excess, and then ready to catch in your tag and rib. Coming in with the gold oval tinsel, size small, just working this down towards the back. As I said, this will form the rib and the tag on the fly. 45 turns at the back on this, standard procedure, get your turns in nice and tight, and then come up and under in between and lock this in, and you're happy with your turns. And running the thread up to about halfway up the body, just catching this in nice and tight. Hopefully not catching the tinsel too many times like I'm doing here, and then cut it away at this point. Keep it away for safekeeping because we are going to come back with it at a later juncture. Okay folks, up first coming in with the willy gun mix for bucktail. Going with the majority of it being yellow. Obviously still got the black and orange in there, but given that it's a spring fly, certainly getting the yellow in there. Just catching this on the top, a couple of wraps. Length and density is very much down to yourself, but this is meant to be a bigger fly. And then we're going to come in with one strand of crystal flash on top of this, and as always catch in with a couple of turns and fold this back to basically make up two strands. And then from there folks, once you've caught this in, get a good couple of wraps down, and then what you look to do is just catch in all of this bucktail coming forward, nice turns. Just keep it as flat as possible really. You'll be able to cover up a lot of this with the body and then chop away anything that's misbehaving as you go. And once you're happy with what you've got all of this in, you can bring your thread all the way back down to the start of the tail. Okay folks, at this stage we're going to come in with a yellow and black dyed Brahma rooster feather, and this is going to add into the tailing. So just catching this on the side just now, chopping away this excess piece at the front we don't need carefully, not to chop anything that we still need. And then we can catch this in, just tidy up a little bit, and then once you've caught this in and you're happy with it, you can come back down and you're looking for a good few turns, and this will just add into the tailing, and it will also help splay out the shrimp eyes that we're going to add on. Okay folks, and as always, when you're happy with what you've got, create a space, bend the stem to create a space, catch this in with a good few turns, fold it back if you can to just lock this in properly and secure it, or you can chop this away and leave a little bit and then tie this in forward into the body. Both will work nicely, totally down to your personal preference. Just make sure everything's nice and tidy and ready to go for the next material. Okay folks, up next we're adding in the shrimp eyes. Totally up to you to decide on colour, size, length, all that sort of stuff. What I would recommend is the side that you're tying in, take a pair of pliers to these and flatten it so it ties in nicely against the body. Getting this in with a few wraps, you can tie them in both at the same time. I'm doing them one at a time because it's easier for me, but as you can see there's a bit of a crimping on the side that I'm tying in, and that's the marks left with the pliers. Just makes the whole thing easier, helps the thread catch on. And for a bit extra security at this point folks, a little bit of super glue on the thread, and then just come back down with some nice turns back down towards the back end of the fly, nice and flush up against the cock hackle. I know what you're thinking folks, you're thinking how much is he putting on this fly? Quite a bit is the answer to that. So we're going to come in with some boar bristle at this point. Just catch on what you want. If you're using thicker boar bristle, 3 or 4 will be fine, but I'm just using the thinner stuff, which I've sort of bent so that it will sit in a number of different directions. Position this how you want round about the back of the fly. This will certainly give more vibration in the water when you're fishing this. When you're happy to do so, catch all this in as it's sitting and chop away your excess. Okay folks, once you've cut all that in at the front and you're happy with how it's all sitting, come back in with that gold oval tinsel that you left sitting on your desk, catch this in and run it all the way back down towards the back of the fly. Once you're at the back of the fly, you can put the tinsel to the side for safekeeping, and then we're going to come in with some gold glister dubbing. This is a sort of nice golden brown from Hairline that I'm using. Keep this nice and thin folks, obviously you want to cover the body but you don't want this too bushy, there's plenty of other elements going on in this fly for bushy. So yeah, just run this up towards the front of the fly, keep it nice and flat, add and twist as you need to. Leaving yourself a good few mil at the front of the fly for the hackles. Once you're happy with what you've got, you can bring up your rib, counter rib from the way that you put the dubbing on, probably a good idea. And when you get to the front, you can catch this in with a good few turns in front and behind, and then cut this away when you're done. Okay, so now we're going to come in with some fox hair. So I've brushed out the under fur here. We've got orange stacked on top of yellow. Yellow definitely being longer than the orange. Just catch this on the top with a good few turns. Make sure you keep it on the top. You can put your thumbnail across it to flatten it and lift it up a little bit, just to make sure you lock this in a shape that you're happy with. When you're happy with how it's sitting, you can chop away your excess, and as always, for extra security, you can add some super glue to lock this into place. Okay, good stuff. Up first on the hackle front, coming with an orange Chinese cock hackle, just catching this in by the tip, quite a long fibre. A couple of turns down, folding it back, and then when you're happy you can cut away that tip. As always, run your scissors up both sides of the hackle and fold it back, just to help the whole thing tie in and sit nice and neat. So that was about 3 to 4 turns folks. You want a reasonable fibre count here. Again, creating a space, bending this round and allowing the thread to come between the fibres. If possible, fold this back and tie in on top of the folded back elements for extra security, and chop away the excess when you're ready to do so. And then we'll repeat the process with our final material, which is a black Chinese cock hackle. Again, just folding all this back. You want this to be as nice and neat at the front of the fly as possible. And again, you want a reasonable fibre count here, so again, depending on the quality of the feather that you're using, again you're looking at probably 3 to 4 turns depending on what you've got. And as always, when you're happy with what you've got, you can come in and chop away your excess. Press all of the fibres back that you still want to catch in and start to build a nice head on top of those fibres. Again, just add some extra wax to the thread at this point to add some grip to help form that nice head. Okay folks, at this point I'm going to whip finish off with the 8O, and I'm actually going to finish the head with some red Glow Bright floss just to brighten the whole thing up. And once you're happy with the head, again you can come in and whip finish and add a coat of varnish to the floss just to secure that in. Would recommend 2 or 3 additional coats just to really firm up that head once you're done. And there you have it folks, the Willie Gunn shrimp for early spring in the big deep dark waters. Pretty sure this will get a fish. It's certainly got a lot of movement in it, a lot of colour, a lot of sparkle. Give it a shot, let me know what you think. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, hit us up on the socials, be great to hear from you. Until next time, cheers.